This is Heliox, where evidence meets empathy. Independent, moderated, timely, deep, gentle, clinical, global, and community conversations about things that matter. Breathe easy, we go deep and lightly surface the big ideas.
Have you ever felt that real pang of injustice? You know, that moment when you see someone getting away with something totally unfair, or maybe breaking a clear rule, and you just instantly feel like I have to step in, even if you know it might cost you something. That really deep sense that justice has to be served no matter what. Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're getting into something pretty fascinating. It's called altruistic punishment. Now, that name might sound a bit academic, but put simply, it's when someone consciously, or maybe not, takes a personal hit, pays a cost to punish someone else for being unfair or breaking a social rule. And the altruistic part, it's not necessarily about some, grand moral feeling inside. It's more about the actual sacrifice. You give something up, you pay a price to make things right. So our mission today, we're going to try and unpack the really complex neural stuff that drives us to deliver this, costly justice. We'll look at how our brains handle three main things. First, how we even spot unfairness and react to it. Second, how we weigh up that personal cost of stepping in against maybe the satisfaction of fixing things. And finally, how our brains manage to understand the whole situation from other people's viewpoints too. It's quite a tangle of biology and social rules.
Yeah, and what's really compelling here, I think, is just how vital altruistic punishment is. It's not just some psychological quirk. It's actually a fundamental way humans cooperate. It helps societies promote order, maintain it, and discourage free riding, people taking advantage without chipping in. It helps make sure shared norms stick. It's kind of a silent cornerstone for how we all get along.
Absolutely. And to really get why it's so baked into us, maybe let's step back a bit. Think historically. You look at ancient civilizations, codes like Hammurabi's, right? One of the oldest legal texts we have. It spelled out social norms and the punishments for breaking them. Super clear. It just shows for thousands of years we've had this deep need to set rules and enforce them. Consequences matter. And what I find really interesting is how that ancient wiring, you could say, still shapes so much of our modern life. I mean, okay, our legal systems are way more complex than an eye for an eye, obviously. But our societies today, still totally reliant on cooperation for public services, big collective projects, everything. And punishment, in various forms, it's still a key tool to keep that cooperation going. Now, when researchers look at how we react to rule breaking, they often talk about two main kinds of punishment. So first, there's what they call second-party punishment, or SP punishment. This is when you're the one who got the raw deal, and you punish the person who gave it to you. Like in the classic ultimatum game. Maybe I get $100, and I have to offer you some split. If you accept, we both keep our shares. But if you reject my offer, zip. Neither of us gets anything. So if I offer you, say, only $10, and you think that's outrageous, you might reject it, even though rejecting means you get nothing too. You're paying a price, personally, to punish me for being unfair. Okay, then there's third-party punishment, TP punishment. And this one is maybe even more curious. Here, you're just a bystander. You're not directly involved in the unfairness. But you still choose to punish the rule breaker, and it costs you something. Imagine a dictator game. Someone observes person A just keeping almost all the money they were supposed to share with person B. That observer, the third party, might then get a chance to use their own money to reduce person A's unfair winnings. They weren't hurt by the initial unfair split, but they'll pay out of their own pocket just to see justice done.
Right. And these aren't just, abstract ideas. Like you said, they're studied all the time with these economic games. And the results, pretty consistent. People really are willing to pay, to incur a cost, to enforce fairness. Doesn't matter if they were the victim or just watching. It really points to this intrinsic drive, doesn't it? This powerful impulse for justice, for making sure social rules mean something. Even when the only gain is maybe the satisfaction that things are balanced again. It holds the social fabric together.
Okay, so if we're kind of wired for this, what's actually firing in our brains when we see something unfair and decide, right, I'm doing something about this?
Yeah.
What parts light up and why those specific bits?
That's a great question. And yeah, it's not just one spot. It's definitely a network. Early studies, often using fMRI, that's the tech that tracks blood flow, basically showing brain activity, they found key areas getting busy. When people get unfair offers, you see more activity in places like the bilateral anterior insula, or AI. That's deep in there, involved in strong emotions, those real gut feelings. That immediate knot in your stomach. Something's wrong here. That's likely the insula. And you also see the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, the DLPFC. That's more like the brain's CEO, planning complex decisions, controlling impulses. And then there's the anterior cingulate cortex, the ACC. It's like a conflict detector. It flags when things don't match expectations. So it's not just raw emotion. Your brain is actively thinking, hold on, this isn't right. It's sounding an internal alarm.
Huh. So it's emotion and reason sort of wrestling with it.
Yeah.
Interesting. And I remember reading that neurotransmitters, like brain chemicals, they also play a part in tweaking this response, right?
Exactly. The brain's chemistry can definitely dial that sensitivity up or down. There was one really interesting study. They found that if you reduce serotonin signaling, people actually become more likely to punish unfairness. And this seemed to work by changing activity in the striatum. That's a key reward area. So it suggests serotonin might set our tolerance level, how much unfairness we'll put up with before we snap an act. It's like a fine-tuning knob. And those prefrontal areas we mentioned, especially the DLPFC, seem specialized for weighing up fairness and guiding us to follow norms when we decide to punish. But then, interestingly, studies on people with damage to a different frontal part, the ventromedial prefrontal cortex, or VMPFC, involved in value judgments. They sometimes show the opposite. They might actually accept fewer unfair offers, maybe struggle more with the decision. It just highlights how complex it is, different frontal bits contributing in different ways to figuring out what's fair and what to do about it.
That's really complex, but does everyone react with that same emotional punch? Or can it be overridden sometimes?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's where individual differences really come in. It's definitely not one size fits all. Temperament, maybe culture, even just being stressed out, all that can tweak the response. But maybe for now we can zoom in on those three core cognitive pillars that seem to consistently underpin this urge to punish. Okay, yeah, let's unpack those pillars. So first up,
Okay.
inequity aversion. This is basically that gut-level negative feeling when something seems unfair, whether it affects you or someone else. It's that primal ouch of injustice. Something feels wrong. And this aversion, it has roots in the brain, the amygdala, the emotion center, especially for threat. Activity there can predict how strongly different people react to inequity. People who are generally more pro-social often show a stronger aversion. And the insula, back to the gut feelings high activity there, is linked to people choosing fair distributions. It suggests that a stronger warning signal from the insula makes people more sensitive to unfairness, pushing them to fix it, like an internal alarm bell ringing louder.
And it makes you wonder, how fast is that feeling? Often this negative reaction, this not fair feeling, it's pretty immediate. It really motivates punishment. That emotional drive is probably strongest when there's not much time between seeing the unfairness and deciding what to do. Almost instinctive. We even see it when someone doesn't reciprocate cooperation. That's a norm violation too. Studies show that specific situation also ramps up activity in the bilateral anterior insula and the left amygdala. Emotional distress when a social promise is broken shows how tied our emotions are to justice.
Okay, so we've got that raw feeling, the inequity aversion. But just feeling bad isn't always enough to make you act, right? Especially if acting costs you something. Which brings us to the next bit. How does the brain decide if paying that price is worth it? This is the second pillar. Cost-benefit calculation. When you think about punishing someone, are you consciously or maybe unconsciously weighing it all up? Seems like a lot goes into it. How bad was the offense? What's the actual cost to me? How much will it affect the other person? Maybe even thinking about future benefits like stopping them doing it again or just maintaining your reputation as someone fair. Animal studies show the anterior cingulate cortex, ACC, is involved in weighing effort versus reward. And in humans, fMRI shows activity in the dorsal ACC and the striatum key for reward and motivation goes up with the net value of the outcome. So it's not just the effort, it's the overall perceived payoff. And that payoff might be social, not just money.
Exactly. That connects really nicely to this idea of a social reward. Maybe giving up some money to punish doesn't feel like a loss if you get this satisfaction from seeing the norm violator get less or seeing fairness win out. You're basically trading a financial cost for a social benefit, that feeling of justice served. And it's not just humans. There's that great example with rhesus macaques. They'll actually give up juice rewards just to look at socially important pictures, like high-status monkeys. It clearly shows they have an exchange rate between physical rewards like juice and social ones like information. And interestingly, the ventromedial prefrontal cortex, VMPFC, which we mentioned earlier, seems really key in putting a subjective value on these social rewards. It's not all about cash, it's about what we value socially.
That's a brilliant point. Our reward system is definitely broader than just material stuff, makes you think, doesn't it? How much of our daily choices are shaped by these subtle social calculations? Which leads us neatly into the third pillar, the social reference frame. How do we process stuff about ourselves versus stuff about others? Especially when deciding whether to punish someone else. I mean, anytime you interact with someone, your brain has to represent both you and them, right? And what's amazing is it often uses the same brain networks to process info about both self and others. You see it so clearly with empathy for pain. Like if you watch someone get a paper cut, parts of your brain, rostral ACC, bilateral insula, amygdala, they become active. The same areas that fire up when you feel pain. It's like a neural echo. It lets us empathize, step into their shoes, understand their state. That shared circuitry is fundamental.
Right, but what's really fascinating is how the brain also distinguishes within those shared networks. It knows if it's about me or you. For instance, the anterior insula, AI, might activate for unfairness towards anyone, yourself or others. But the medial prefrontal cortex, MPFC, seems more selective. It activates more strongly for unfair offers involving you personally. So different regions might have slightly different jobs, different perspectives on the unfairness, even while using some of the same equipment. And we see incredible precision in this from monkey studies, too. Really compelling stuff. Researchers found neurons in different bits of the frontal cortex coding rewards differently. For example, some neurons in the ACC gyrus, ACCG, part of the ACC, only signaled when the other monkey got a reward, completely separate from the actor's reward, but then other neurons nearby would fire whether the actor or the other monkey got rewarded, mirroring it. This amazing specialization shows just how tuned the brain is to other regarding events, which is absolutely crucial for something like altruistic punishment, where you're acting for a norm, not just for yourself. It shows a deep capacity to represent the other's experience.
Wow, that level of detail in the brain is just staggering. Shows how sophisticated we are socially. So, okay, let's pull this all together. What does it all mean? Altruistic punishment, this readiness to pay a price for fairness, it's clearly super complex. It's run by this dynamic mix of thinking and feeling signals in the brain. We've seen the DLPFC doing executive work, the insula with gut feelings, the amygdala flagging emotional weight, the striatum calculating reward, the ACC monitoring conflict. They all play these crucial connected parts in this intricate dance, leading us to enforce fairness even when it costs us.
Exactly. And connecting it back to the bigger picture, it's obvious these signals, the feeling of unfairness, the cost calculation, understanding the other person's view. They aren't separate little boxes. They're likely interacting constantly, dynamically, right up to the moment you decide to punish, and maybe even influencing if you change your mind just before acting. It's a continuous negotiation inside. So here's something to think about. Given that these brain signals for fairness, cost, and social perspective are always buzzing and interacting, how could understanding these neural details maybe help us, I don't know, nudge cooperative behavior in society? Could it help us figure out why some punishments feel so immediate, so emotional, while others seem more delayed, more calculated? And what does that difference mean for keeping social order?
Thanks for listening today. 4 recurring narratives underlie every episode: boundary dissolution, adaptive complexity, embodied knowledge, and quantum-like uncertainty. These aren't just philosophical musings, but frameworks for understanding our modern world. We hope you continue exploring our other podcasts, responding to the content, and checking out our related articles at helioxpodcast.substack.com.